There you are, my friend. Much better.
Oh, great.
So start from the top, please.
Sure. So we first identified this anomaly in Laura Loomer's congressional race back in 2022. And it was an interesting data point. It solidified our concerns with the quote unquote blank ballots. And so over time, we had identified that this was a massive issue all across Florida. We've covered this, extensively. We moved the investigation into Maryland, confirmed that it was going on there with the blank ballots, other states as well. And so what was particularly interesting is in Florida, they decided to hide a lot of this blank ballot data from us in the Florida Election Fraud Legalization Act, known as SB 7050. Now, Broward County apparently has still not received the memo not to steal via blank ballots. And so they have continued on this path. Other counties, they just hide the data. And so what we identified in Broward was that there was in excess of over 223 precincts that had matching percentages of 100% blank ballots being cast in the election. And, so I'm like, well, this is just absolutely insane. They've really leveled up here because every year Broward County keeps going up and up and up and up with the blank ballot count. And so we decided to run some mathematical probabilities on that occurring naturally. And what we found is that the likelihood of that occurring over 4 election cycles is 1 in 1 nonillion.
Yeah.
So we then started looking into Maryland again. And what we're going back and forth right now with one of the more corrupt counties there, Baltimore County. And they're fighting us on releasing certain reports. And they're saying, oh, well, no, that information's on our website. We put it there for you. But they really didn't. Yeah, it's really not there. And I say, okay, look at it. I mean, I've sent like 18 emails back and forth with Baltimore County in particular on this. I spent about a half an hour on the phone with the election administrators there about this. So I brought them up to speed on why they have to give it to me and how it's not discretionary. So hoping to have that here shortly. However, I did run the rest of the state of Maryland. And when we ran that for the state of Maryland, same exact pattern. And so what this does, right, is it may or may not, may or may not be deemed by the courts as clear and convincing evidence, right? But what it does demonstrate is that the machines clearly are not accurate and they're not correct, and or they've been compromised, which we know is true. So the pickle that they are now put in, especially here in Florida, right, is either you have inaccurate machines that don't meet the legal certification requirements for Florida, which is 1 error in 1 million occurrences, okay? Or you have outright fraud and manipulation within the machines using an algorithm. And so either way, they're pretty much caught at this point. And so, what we have seen in Broward County, there were certain precincts that had as much as 30% of all the ballots cast in the precinct as being 100% blank. Now, a lot of people, they always say, well, what's the big deal about a blank ballot? Well, a blank ballot really isn't blank. What a blank ballot is, it's a ballot that was adjudicated by the machine as being 100% blank. And we know, after talking to lots of people, that nobody is going to, in their right mind, go out on election day, vote by mail, early voting, provisionally even, and cast a 100% blank ballot. Nobody would do that. And in Broward County, it becomes so egregious, right, that 30% of all the people in a precinct would do that. Now, the bigger
they're changing votes via the machine.
Yeah, I mean, they're deleting people's votes. They're deleting people's ballots, and that is actual, factual voter disenfranchisement.
Yeah.
And that's how you invalidate elections. And so we see it in Palm Beach County, we see it in Broward County, in Hillsborough County. We've seen it all over Maryland, and we've seen it in California and in Wisconsin. The election administrators there omit the category of blank ballots from the reporting in their entirety. So,
so what caught my eye, Chris, is that Liz Harrington tweeted out your research, which she's on Inside the Wire, right? I mean, she's close to POTUS. So that was a signal to me, and I'm like, I got to get Chris on. So have you been a busy beaver behind the scenes, my man? Or
so we've been working as a team, me and a few other candidates who had our elections stolen from us. Mm-hmm. And we're pooling our resources, efforts, and intelligence and data, mm-hmm. and we're fighting the good fight. So I've been working with Jeff Bongiorno over in Palm Beach County, John Siamis, and some other folks. We're engaged in hardcore lawfare, taking on the establishment, taking on corrupt judges who were central to obstruction and deprivation of our rights to get a fair trial.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mm-hmm. In my case and Bongiorno's case and other cases. And so I have been preparing initial briefs for the DCA and the Florida Supreme Court and federal court, showing how every piece of the trial for my cases were compromised, constituting what is called a fundamental error and structural error, where the judge herself or the judge himself, they were materially connected to the facts being litigated in the case. And so we had these judges whose names were on the illegally requested vote by mail ballots on a Sunday, despite the fact that there was a block on the website so that they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to disqualify the judges in my case at the county level, and they refused. Then when the case went to the DCA level and they refused to unseal all the exhibits in my case, it became clear that I was not going to get a fair shake there. So I sought to disqualify the compromised judges there. And so they ruled behind obfuscation. They issued a court order without putting any of their names on it related to my case. So I filed a motion for clarification to find out exactly which judges on the DCA panel ruled on my DCA cases. And I'm preparing to take the case to the next level, both federally and with the Florida Supreme Court. So wow. It's a lot. And then we're still working on the smurfing and putting together white papers for the for referral for criminal stuff for the DOJ, and so yeah, we're busy.
I guess my question is, do you think Team Trump is aware of what's going on the machines?
I mean, if they would have to be living in a cave to not understand this and not know this. Yeah. I mean, these are all everything that we've been working on and pushing on. I mean, they're aware of it. I mean, I know Liz is aware of it. You know, I know that Kurt Olson's aware of it. I mean, we've been, you know, sharing this stuff. I mean, we've been the tip of the spear on this election corruption cartel enterprise, you know?
Yes.
So, I mean, we got a briefing, you know, the 2 days before my own election. You know, I sent a memo to the president, you know, President Trump, about what the fraud they were going to deploy, and they deployed it every single step of the way, you know? So, I mean, they know, we have to litigate this stuff. I mean, there is a process. We have to expose things every step of the way. And, you know, we know, that with so many illegally requested vote by mail ballots, in particular my race, it also affected several congressional races. It affected a lot of other things. You know, we have to document stuff and show who is benefiting and who is participating, to include the judges, which, you know, I mean, there is a lot of judicial corruption. And just because the judge has an R next to their name doesn't mean that they're a good person.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they're doing the right thing. And judges have to follow the law. And sometimes they need to be reminded of that fact.
Yes, for sure. Or at least scared into it.
Yeah.
You know, so Chris, thank you. Anything else you want to get out to the public?
So keep your eyes peeled for some great new articles coming out shortly in the Miami Independent.
Very cool.
And on Immutable Truth Elections Substack. We're going to be probably doing some press conferences and some big stuff coming up here related to my case and Bonji's case, because the stuff that we're doing, nobody's litigated like this before, and nobody's brought the issues that we've been bringing up. So this is sure to flip the script on a lot of things. So,
well, let us know. We'll live stream the press conferences when you're ready.
Good deal.
All right,
Wonderful.
man.
All right.
Chris, thank you very much, my friend. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Okay.